Hello, this is Crypto CJ. Welcome to today's trade of the day. It's the Friday afternoon Zoom edition. We had a big Bitcoin dump, about 5% this afternoon. Let's look at the charts, see what's up with that. Okay, you guys should be seeing my Bitcoin 4-hour chart.
Yep.
All right, very good. So this is what we're talking about, this big dump right here. It did honor this. This is a Fibonacci retracement line. That's, talking about fibs is a little beyond the scope of this. This is a longer term evaluation tool. And this just might be a coincidence, but this is a 382 line and it's been holding. It's right around 53.4. It's been touched on multiple times, in the last couple of weeks. So it did punch through and then shot right back up. So I think people were buying in on this level. And, this is an art more than a science. So I can't say that everybody has lines drawn like this, but a lot of traders are probably, maybe using this area as a beginning to do a fib. And, as Patrick likes to say, a lot of these charting and strategies tend to create self-fulfilling prophecies. And maybe we have that today, maybe we don't. But okay, in the 4-hour, we're hanging around 53 and change. I'd like to see a bounce. I thought we were done with this. I thought once we had this consolidation, we'd shoot up, but no, we crashed again today. I was looking for some news. Didn't really see anything out of the ordinary as a news item. Brooklyn, some of you others are more into news. Was there anything that happened today that would have inspired this drop?
Absolutely. There's always news. Now we got to figure out if it's true or if it's bullshit.
Yeah,
so
it's FUD.
Evergrande sent out another letter saying that they cannot fulfill their payment promises. And also the government said that they can't pay their employees anymore, that tonight it ends at midnight. And there was one other thing. The travel ban for the
well,
people.
Let's go over the Evergrande thing. That's the Chinese real estate company, right?
Right.
And we're concerned, at least the stock people are, that could, a company that large failing in China could have a reaction, all throughout the financial world and the stock market. And as much as we hate to admit it, Bitcoin is tied somewhat, if not a lot, to stocks, because when people are afraid or uncertain, they flee out of, riskier assets like what we're talking about into cash. And so that's potentially what happened here.
There was also NFP today. There was a couple of PMIs and what have you. Typical first week of the month in the kind of the Forex world, if you will. I don't know how that impacts. I mean, you could look at it and I guess say that, oh man, non-farm payroll was a killer today on Bitcoin, but I don't know. I haven't watched it in the past.
Yeah, I find that things that have a set date and that can be anticipated are usually, less of a concern. But, what Brooklyn said about that Chinese company, Evergrande, that has messed up, the markets before. So that doesn't, now that we know about that doesn't surprise me if that's a problem. Thanks for chipping in, Daniel. Brooklyn, what was the other thing you were going to say?
Well, if you remember, if you look at the market structure, in the morning, they had the little dip that we just talked about. That is from the government not being able to back and pay their employees. And then the second one that we had later in the afternoon, that was Evergrande that came out.
Okay, well, it's been dumping since 6:30 Mountain. So yeah, we've had a pretty brutal drop. We were all the way up here.
There was also too much too much leverage still in the market that didn't get flushed out, that I think the whales wanted to break out. And I think this is just their way. I think they know that the public is like not being fooled anymore by China banning Bitcoin. So their next, their backing is Evergrande still. So I think they're using that now. If you understand.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, China bans crypto about every other month, so it's kind of pointless.
They
to even
don't have that
announce it.
leg to stand on anymore, so they
No.
need to find something else. So Evergrande is their next best leg to, actually kick it from underneath.
Yeah, those pesky whales looking for reason to push down the prices, scare you out, and take your Bitcoin. So,
And it flushes out leverage.
yeah, I trade on leverage, but they can't flush me out. So, all right, so that's Bitcoin. Let's take a quick look at Ethereum. All right, it's the 4-hour chart, and it has been honoring this this trend line from about 3 weeks ago, right around 4,000. It's touched it multiple times though. So let's see if yeah, still pretty big drop. That's actually on the 4-hour chart though. The 15-minute, what happened today? See if it was the same as Bitcoin, or yeah, a little more actually, but not that much more. So anyway, Ethereum seems to be holding pretty steady at right around 4,000, so that's good news. I have a little small bag of Ethereum and Bitcoin as well. Not financial advice, but those are the only two I hodl. So everything else is in play all the time. All right, any questions on Bitcoin or Ethereum before we move over to Altcoin Alert? Let's check the chat. All right, Brianna is greeting people, saying she loves Ethereum. So I like it too. I always like to have a bag of it. Plus, it's useful. Sometimes I gotta do business in crypto, and just about everybody takes Ethereum for that purpose. All
I
right.
have one
Well,
question, CJ.
sure.
Do you typically recognize any forms of imbalance? So, for example, if you're looking on Ethereum, that last move up, that large green candle near the bottom where there's a gap between the previous candle and the third candle, that would be what I would consider, we call imbalance, where there's such a large purchase that no selling took place in there. And very often, at least in my experience, price will often come back to fill that imbalance, which it kind of looks like what it did today, even on Bitcoin, similar structure with that initial move up, again, a large gap between it's a 1, 2, 3 type concept, the second candle being the gap. Is that something that you noticed or are familiar with from trading cryptos?
Yeah, I think you're talking about how prices tend to fill gaps in stocks and Forex and things like that. We do have a 1, 2, 3 multiple dips here. We do talk about the 1, 2, 3 dip a lot.
I'm familiar with that, but slightly in a different concept, where that large green candle is on the move up, the previous candle being the first candle, the large gap candle being 2, and the last one being 3. That huge gap between 1 and 3 produced by that really large candle is typically always filled at some point in time, whether it's in stocks or Forex.
Mm-hmm.
I would assume the concept is similar with cryptos, and you can see it more easily on the
4-hour. You cut out. Oh, there you are.
Little harder to see on the 1 hour.
Yeah, since you're talking about some more advanced candle analysis, a little beyond the scope of our show,
okay.
but I do appreciate it.
Okay.
When I learned,
I was just curious if you'd noticed.
I really had not. But when a little history on me, after about 6 months or so of day trading, some of these basic techniques that I talk about, I did spend a lot of time learning about candles, how they're formed, and what the wicks mean, and certain nicknames and things like that. And there can be some value in that. I certainly wouldn't criticize it. I spent a lot of time learning it, so it does come in handy from time to time. But I tend to look more for the basic, simpler patterns, and some of the other indicators I like to use, RSI, MFI, and MACD. So that's about as deep into analysis as I go. But yeah, there's certainly value, and I showed you the fib retracements in longer terms. So yeah, as far as really detailed candle and trying to anticipate what they're going to do, I don't do that much. I may do that when I'm looking for just the right entry point. So
You have a chances sometime, CJ. Can you go over what you look for inside of a MACD?
I use the MACD primarily in a situation where the market's hot and I can't get a third dip. I'm looking at and so I look for a MACD cross. So let's say we had multiple dips here. So let's say we've got 1, 2, and then it takes off here. Yeah, so let's say I'm looking at it and it's going up here. It doesn't look like it's going to come back. So in that situation, I might wait for the MACD to cross, for this blue line to go over the orange line, which happens right about, right about here. Again, it's not a great example because then it goes down, but sometimes two dips and a MACD cross will keep pumping up. So that's my main use for the MACD.
Doesn't matter? Does these, as far as that crossover, does it matter in that crossover whether the signal line's on top or below?
Yeah, the blue line needs to be on top.
What about if it's on? What if we're on top of the over the blocks?
The histogram.
Yeah, then the orange needs to be on top.
No, if it's over to the histogram, that tells me it's potentially overbought. So, that's sort of danger Will Robinson type area. But there's some disagreement among traders on that, whether because you're going to get a high RSI in that scenario too. Your RSI is going to be up here. Most people are going to use that to determine overbought and oversold more than the MACD, but sometimes it goes overbought and then just keeps going. So all we can do is increase our probabilities with our candle analysis and the what we're seeing in the indicators, because a news item can come out of nowhere, or some whale could have an itch and dump, and someone could hit a wrong key on a keyboard, and there's lots of things that can happen that make no sense that can adversely affect our trades. So do the best you can with the tools we have and go from there. So speaking of tools, I think it's time we move on to Altcoin Alert. And we've been talking the last few Zooms about the long-term sentiment sort. Let me start from the beginning though. Okay, this is how I like to look at the Altcoin Alert. When you sign on initially, you might see this, but I want all the information. So I want the easy mode off, and I want Altcoin Alert radar on, and this gives me sortable columns here. What Josh Frank of the TIE has been talking about in the last couple Tuesday afternoon Zooms is sorting by long-term sentiment. He gave a bunch of statistics. I'm not going to go over them here, but the first time he talked about it, he says if you do this around midnight UTC time and trade the very bullish coins under long-term sentiment, you can have really great results. Something like, I think it was a couple 1,000% from the beginning of the year, to the current to now. So I thought, okay, that's worth checking out. And it's really easy. It's really easy to sort by this. And then I look for, since I like to trade leverage, I look for something that I can trade on leverage. And we've got that here with MATIC. I did this a couple hours ago, and at the time MATIC was just hovering under the very bullish in bullish land. I thought, that's close enough. I had a really good trade with MATIC a couple of weeks ago, or a couple of days ago in this very situation. So I'll go ahead and show you what I did with that. I looked at this at right around 2 o'clock Mountain Time. So I got in about 2:19. And then I rode that up to this. I saw this resistance here around 230. I dropped a little bit below to 229. So I got like 4.3% in less than 10 minutes. I was at 10x leverage, so that's over 40% in a very short amount of time. So I love that trade. I've done this now. That one was a little early. I'd done a couple later than 5 p.m. my time, which corresponds to UTC midnight. Done a couple around 7 or 8 o'clock, and Josh said a few days ago on Tuesday that the specific time of midnight isn't that important. I suspect that was just he had to choose a time to do his analysis, and that's the one he chose. So it's worth your while, I think, a couple times during the day to do that sort on long-term sentiment and see what shows up. You can spot trade this as well. Maybe hold it a little longer. Try to get probably between like 4 and 6%. Like you could do that on this DeFi chain. I did do this 2 days in a row on Chromia, and the first one did really well, and the second one I got stuck in, had to do a ladder buy, so that one took 2 or 3 days, but eventually was profitable. So I think I've done this 8 or 9 times, and I've only had to ladder buy once. So anyway, I'm still loving the long-term sentiment. I mean, it's only been about a week and a half, so I can't, say it's perfect, but so far so good. What I haven't done yet is go the opposite way, very bearish. See if it'll drop. So I may do that later. If I'll let you guys know. I know some of you guys in here trade leverage as well. Leverage is very risky, so make sure you're very comfortable and have some sustained success with spot trading before you dabble in leverage. All right, so that's the long-term sentiment sort. Any questions about that? Okay, got a chat question.
I could ask a question.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I know you focus primarily on the UTC time, 5 o'clock or whatever, but like when Josh was saying that, any time doesn't matter. I guess my thing is like, if I'm going into it, knowing where to, I mean, I've looked at the ones that are where it's going up and it's already going up, no problem. But most of the time I'm looking at the very bullish, it's already gone. And so, it's already like a couple hours ago, it went up, 10, 15% and came back down or something like that. And so I'm looking at, trying to maybe find some place where I can get in at. And I'm not sure, has it already happened? Should I forget about it because it's already pumped? Or, but supposedly the AA score, not AA score, but the long sentiment score is, what it is right now is what it is right now. And in the next 24 hours, it's going to go up 3%. But, if it's going to, but there's nothing to say it's not going to go down 10% before that point.
Yeah, the 3% reference is actually towards the AA score. I don't know if the long-term sentiment has any specific goal or implication of how high it's going to go. I've been going a little more aggressive on that than I would on an AA score. So, but to answer your question, I was lucky a bit today because we had the Bitcoin dump and it was coming back. These were trending up. It had already been beaten down, almost below $2 on MATIC. So I thought the odds were very good that it would ride this wave coming back. So that had something to do with my decision. A lot of times you look at an AA score or long-term sentiment or some kind of sort, and you don't have that luxury. It's already played out like you just described, or it's just chopping, consolidating. There's no clear movement. So you have to take that into consideration. I'm not saying to blindly, look at the long-term sentiment very bullish and buy MATIC without any further analysis. I had the benefit of this coming back pretty sharp. It took a hard dump and then a hard pump. This could be a place to use the MACD. It started crossing right about here. you know, on this candle at 230, at 223, you know, you ride that up to 230 and you pick up 3%. So I'm not sure if that answers your question, but the point is, you know, when you get that information, you have to look at the charts and be aware of what's going on in the market too.
I guess
CJ,
go ahead.
no, sorry, go ahead.
My question was along the lines of, you know, like, yeah, the 24, it says in the next 24 hours, it's going to go up, but that's not necessarily the case, is it? And you're saying basically, yeah, you got to do analysis in order to figure out whether it's going to go up or not.
Right, and that's really the purpose of why I started doing this Zoom, was to help people get better entry points and not just blindly follow. You know, Altcoin Alert, I view that as a tool that makes me aware of certain situations, and then, you know, what I do with that information is up to me based on what I see in the charts and the news. So I'm trying to help you guys do the same.
So look on that. I'm sorry, I got to interrupt on that. With the coins, the alerts. Honestly, like if I'm not holding the coin, or if I'm not like going to look at it or whatever, those alerts just, I mean, they really don't, you know, they don't really help me out. The Altcoin Alert platform, if I want to get a coin, yes, I go, it's very helpful. It shows you all the sentiment and everything and good. But when you see an alert come up on your phone and then you're like, let me go run and get it. No, I mean, that's not, you know, what it's for. It's for you to look at it, you know, do some more, you know, exploration, and then see, you know, if it's actually a good fit for you.
Okay, is that the alert on the AA scores or?
Yes, all the
all right.
coins that come up and they say bearish, bullish, whatever, you know, I mean, that's what I use it for. I don't really see it like, you know, like to go run to your phone and be like, let me buy this coin, it says bullish.
No, don't do that ever.
Yeah, exactly.
You can do that on the SIG devs when there's a new listing. Even that, you should probably take a look first. But
Usually too late after the SIG devs there.
Yeah, I've talked before about catching the second pump on those, and I've had some success with that, but it's a little risky. All right, Cami was asking something earlier. Go ahead, Cami.
Hi, I just put it in the chat, but I'll ask here. Can you explain further how you choose between the top very bullish long-term sentiment coins each day? Like,
Sure.
are you looking at the AA score, or are you doing deeper dives into, because sometimes there's like 20, you know?
True. For me, it's primarily a leverage trader. I'm going to look at coins I know that I can buy on leverage, which is going to be MATIC, not DeFi, OGN, Link. I'm not sure about Bella. So, and I'm looking for very bullish, so it would just be these two, and I would just look at MATIC, and I already described that trade, so that one was very easy for me. But I looked yesterday and there weren't any, you know, that I could trade on leverage. If you're trading on spot, then you need to go to the chart and look at it and see if you can see, you know, some clear, you know, 1, 2, 3 dip or some trending action, you know, like this. You know, that's good trending action, blasted through the SMA line. So that's something you can get a couple % on pretty quickly. So yeah, to answer your question, it's really, let's see what the chat said. Yeah, so the first thing is, you know, what can I trade on leverage? The second thing is, do I know this coin? Am I familiar with it? Have I traded it before? And then I go to the chart and look at it to see if it's in a pattern that I like. A lot of times I talk about, you know, let's say you look at it and it's already up here. It's like, okay, well, it's already hit this this resistance. It might go up here, but it might not. Maybe I want to do a, you know, try to catch a dip trade instead. So you might place an alert down here where we see some short-term support. You know, add your alert and then trade it when, you know, when it looks better. And that's my advice most of the time on these Zooms is to get a better entry by waiting, and use your alerts on TradingView to make you aware of that. And don't just buy when the alert goes off. Reevaluate when the alert goes off. I mean, if it's crashing down and you want to spot trade, then you want to wait till you see some evidence of the candles coming back like we have here. You know, it's a pretty big, not a huge crash, but you know, something that'll catch your attention. You know, MATIC fell 10% in, you know, about an hour. That's a pretty big move. So you see these candles here, it's like, okay, it looks like it's coming back, does dip down a little bit again and shoots up. So a big move like this, and then, you know, the dead cat bounce, they call this sometimes, and then a move back up. That's one you want to look at.
If I might interject just for a second, the gentleman who asked the question about, you know, where do you get in when it's on a run? And you kind of touched on that, CJ. You almost can't. You know, you always want to wait for a pullback. You should never jump in on something because it never fails. You jump in on it and it turns around as soon as you get in. So always wait for that. And if you don't get that pullback, then there'll always be another trade. But if you use a Fibonacci, kind of looking for, you know, a pullback to the 3.8 or to the 5.0, that can give you a much better indication that, okay, here's where we can probably get in. But yeah, it's like catching a falling knife, right? You don't want to be hopping on, even though you think it might race, because usually it turns around as soon as you hop in. It's very dangerous.
Yeah, it's a good point. I've tried to do more trend trades, you know, trying to catch that trend. It seems like more often than not, you know, I get burned on it. So the, you know, the dip trading and the pullbacks, those just seem to be overall, you know, percentage wise, much more successful than trend trading. But you know, there's an overall trend, and then and we're talking day trading here. So you know, those, if you want to do swing trading or hodling, then yeah, you want to look for a trend, but then you want to probably buy on a pullback. So yeah, let's see another chat. Okay, yeah, we talked about that. So
Well, for me, the main question, and this is a special scenario, special case, this is a falling knife. But as far as, you know, in most instances, like earlier today, looking at share or REN or whatever, and there was like, as far as finding a buy-in point, there was like 3 or 4 different buy-in points that I could look at. And, you know, right now, you know, it looked like maybe it was going up, but maybe it's, you know, I wanted it to come down. If we go down to the, you know, it's up and down and up and down. So let's say I'm, you know, it looks like it's going up, but I'm going to hold fast and have some discipline and wait for it to come back down. But the question is deciding how far it's going to come down. You know, and you understand what I'm saying? I mean, there's no indicator I have to necessarily say how far it's going to go and where I should pick it up at. And that's where I have a lot of difficulty.
yeah,
Is trying to figure out one, you know, you got the next one and the next one and the next lower, and which one is it, you know?
well, that's where where ladder buying can be a really helpful tool, like you talking about REN. So I'm on that coin now, and you know, let's say it's you know, 8 in the morning, and I see this, and then I see this trend pattern, and I'm thinking, do I want to get in now, or do I want to wait for a second or third dip? Well, we get a second dip here, and now it's coming. Now it's shooting up again, and I've got a MACD cross. So I've got 2 dips and a MACD cross. I'd probably get in right about here, and but I'd be ready to ladder buy if necessary. You know, I'd probably look for, you know, something like this. You can try to get 3%, and then, well, I get 1.3, and then, you know, then I'm crashing down here. But I tend to do my ladder buys between 6 and 10% loss. So I'd probably be in around here. I'd see this green candle. Actually, I might not buy again. If it goes up, if I'm only down, you know, between 4 and 5%, I probably don't buy again. But let's say I had a low buy order in on a ladder buy, which I do from time to time, definitely overnight. That picks that up, or picks that order up. You know, at that time, I'm practically in profit here, because I've got the average of those two positions, I'm going to be okay if I go ahead and sell here at the very top, but I might hold longer and wait, and it looks like it's moving up again. So if it comes back to my original purchase, and I'm in one ladder buy, my first purchase breaks even, my second one, I'm up about 6 or 7%. So, the average is 3.5%, and that's a pretty good trade. So, since the overall market, most people believe is a bull market, the ladder buying strategy is very useful. It can be problematic if we're in a bear market. Okay. Wow, we're just zipping along here. Thanks for all the questions. This is really helpful. Over a half an hour, I haven't talked about Altcoin Alert that much. I think we're done with the long-term sentiment sort. Let's look at the AA scores. I don't see any that are very bullish. I'm usually looking for mid 80s or above on the AA score. And remember, these are mostly mutually exclusive from the rest of these sorts. The AA score is trying to predict the future. It's trying to tell us, well, we use crypto.com for a moment. It's got, based on this, it's got a 79% chance to go up 3% or more the next 72 hours. First they said 24, then 48, now it's 72. So anyway, this is a coin I actually bought way above this. No, I have a low buy order in this, trying to catch this. I might have gotten that. I need to check Coinbase Pro, see if I got in on that today's dump. Anyway, we've looked at MATIC already. Let's look at crypto.com. Let's just yeah, we'll look at the Coinbase chart. All right. I'm looking for something the first time. I'm gonna go day chart, hour chart, then 5-minute chart. Hasn't been on Coinbase Pro very long, just about a month. When I see a lack of history and I know something's been around for a while, I'll try to find it on another, somewhere else. Let's look at Bittrex. Yeah, it has much more history on Bittrex. So on the day chart, it goes, way back. I'm not going to scroll all the way back, but so there's quite a bit of history here. It had the big pump, probably with the Coinbase listing from 21 cents, all the way up to over $1. Retraced quite a bit since then. So go back to the Coinbase listing for the short-term look. On the 1 hour, we've got resistance here at around 76 cents. A little bit more up here towards 80 cents. On the 5-minute, big drop here from 69 down to 59. I think I had a low buy order around here, 60-ish. So it's coming back. Wow, quite a dip sequence here. 1, 2, 3. Probably would have gotten in here, but we get a 4th dip. Let's see. Drop 7.5%. I probably ladder buy it around 6%. I'm right here on 59 cents. So had I been trading this more live, yeah, I'd have 2 positions, one here, and I could be out. Yeah, at around 63 cents. So that would have been a good day trade. My first position breaks even. My second position gets over 6%, 3% between the two. So that would have been pretty cool. But what do we do now? It's gone beyond that pump. It is riding the SMA line, but starting to move up a little bit. So I'd probably go in kind of small. I like this candle action here. and maybe try to ride it not all the way back, but you've got resistance here at 65 cents for 2% gain. Again, here at about 67 cents for about 5.5%. And then up here, 69 cents for 8.8%. So when I see these kind of scenarios, I generally go for the middle, kind of like this, right about where it is, and up to 66 cents, pick up 4%. And just set your alerts, maybe down here to buy in again if necessary. So any questions on crypto.com? All right, well, I've showed you how I evaluate AA scores and the long-term sentiment sort. You do other sorts as well. Another one that we like to do is by social activity, and look for coins that are very bullish under long-term sentiment and bullish under the Elder Impulse daily. This is a technical indicator, combines trend-based and momentum-based indicators. Bryce loves this on CryptNation. He talks about it all the time on the Lifer calls. Alan from the group, likes this, likes to trade coins that are very bullish and bullish on these two columns. So the only one right now that is looking like that is MATIC, which we've already talked about. I scroll down, I'm not really seeing any others. Could bend the rules a little and look at bullish and bullish. You got bearish on shorter term, the Elder Impulse hourly, that's based on 20 and 50-hour averages over the last 24 hours. So not that, if I'm willing to stay in for a day or two, I'm not that worried about a bearish on the hourly or on the short-term sentiment. So Luna could be one worth checking out. It's got some nice scores here, and the neutral or better, but I'm usually looking for neutral or better on the AA score when I do these other sorts. So we've got the long-term on Luna. Let's go ahead and check that out, and then I'll throw it open to whatever you guys want to talk about. Luna. All right, on the day chart, it's like we're at all-time high areas. 65. Yeah, that's at least on Binance. We have the all-time high today and dropped on the 1 hour. Rising, 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 higher highs, higher lows. Yeah, if this doesn't turn around fairly soon, we're going to break that trend. Yeah, this one's kind of intriguing. Big bounce. Bounce again. This is some pretty violent action here. The 5-minute chart, but we are seeing some short-term support here. Right around 64 and change. I think I want to see a dip sequence out of this before I get in again. So you might want to set an alert here between 63 and 64. This bubble's pretty big, but it's not really following a traditional dip sequence. Get to.
Why are you choosing the 63, 64? What, I mean, there's no interference or, support line or anything you're using to choose that.
Well,
So
I see it. I'll show it to you. I gotta get this out of my way. So I'm seeing multiple touches here. Right around here, but we're already there at the support area and it's trending down. So that's why I want to see if I can catch it down here.
Yeah, that was my question. So how are you choosing the 63 or 64?
I mean, I see
it's going down. So
yeah, I'm anticipating a dip sequence. So It hasn't quite broken through the bottom of the Bollinger Band yet. So I'm thinking it might do that. So,
And you'll give yourself an alert. You won't necessarily buy there. You'll just say, look at it and see how it moves.
right,
Okay.
right. So right
Okay.
click here, add your alert,
Hey,
good to
hey.
go.
Hey, CJ,
Uh-huh.
I'm doing a short on that at the moment. It's just at 330 profit.
Yeah, I did one earlier today. So,
Yeah, I'm hoping it'll hit the Bollinger Band too, because that's where my take profit is.
nice,
And that'll be just under $400.
sweet. I can't really candidly talk about my trading without mentioning leverage because that's mostly what I do now, but we are geared towards, helping you guys use Altcoin Alert to really improve on your spot trading. It does have some value to me as a leverage trader as well, but when you hear Craig and, Craig's an experienced trader, and when you hear us talking about leverage, that's again, I want to warn you guys, nail spot trading first, get good at that, and then we'll do leverage later. But I'd love to take this show at some point out of spot and into leverage because I think it's more interesting. But for now, we're going to focus on spot. And if you hear us talking about shorts and things like that, just follow along for the future. So, all right, let's see what we got in the chat. All right, yeah, Craig's talking about he's doing really well on that Luna short. So glad to hear that. And looks like it's still printing some red candles. Let's take a quick look at Bitcoin. Look at the other indicators as well. Yeah, Luna is interesting at that it doesn't follow Bitcoin as much as some of the other tokens do. It's a little more on its own. So you'll see times where Luna's pumping and Bitcoin's dropping and vice versa. So I do like that about it. I'd like to the point where not so many of the coins are following Bitcoin. It's kind of annoying, but it's our current reality. So, well, any other questions on Luna or Altcoin Alert? We're at about 45 minutes now, so I will go ahead and throw this open to any questions you have on crypto in general. I usually hang around for some of the other opportunities that my friends and I are into to talk about those as well. But for now, let's stay focused on what we have in Altcoin Alert and the general market. All right, Brooklyn wants to know about SCIE. I don't even know what that is. Is that a token?
Yeah, good. Yeah, I'm on mute. Yeah. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for coming. Thank you very much, CJ, for everything you do for us. We really appreciate it. And I stumbled upon this coin. I got a couple like little miniature mastermind groups, and all they concentrate on is poo coins. And they figure they're really young, they're millenniums or whatever, Z Gen, whatever. And they figure we get in now, we hold, and we're never gonna sell. So they gave me this coin, and if you could look it up in Coin Market Cap, it says that the amount of coin that you buy will be divided. So I'm gonna be really straight up. I bought like 13 of them because that's all I had at the time for like $18-20. And then every 8 hours, my 13 turned into like 9 turned into 8. I mean, like 6 turned into whatever. Now I'm down to like 1.9, but my balance is really high. So I'm just trying to figure out, I've never seen this before. I have no idea what's going on. All I know is the balance is going higher and my coin is getting shorter.
Yeah, I cannot comment intelligently on that. So
Sounds like
it
a
sounds
reverse
interesting.
split.
It does sound interesting, and it's up 70% today. So there's that.
If you look at 24, if you look for the 24, and then you go from 24 to 7 to a week to a month is like 112 like 1,000%. And it just keeps going up every 8 hours. If you look at the protocol, like what it says on there, it shows that it keeps going up, your coins will go down. But if I keep going down to 0, am I going to disappear?
I don't know.
You'll have $1 million.
Yeah, I'm making a note of it. So
just for 1 second, and then you won't have any coins.
Yeah.
And then
Exactly.
and then
I'm
you'll
trying to
have
get out
nothing.
before that.
Yeah. Get out.
It
before
sounds
that.
like almost like a reverse split, but that's not usually what happens with price.
I'm really looking for like some kind of, any kind of guidance here on this, because the guys, they send me stuff, but they never call me unless it's really, really important. And they called me directly and said, hey, you need to get this now. And I got it. And then all of a sudden they went from like $20 to $70 to 100, and it just keeps going up. But my coins keep going down.
Pull your stop up.
Yeah, all I could say is, read the white paper
It's
and
in
see if they explain
Pancake
that very
Swap.
well. But
It's in Pancake Swap. And
all right.
yeah, so you know the deal there.
Yeah, it's
So what? No
a wild
stops
west.
and stuff like that.
Yeah, there's really no no option to do anything. You buy stuff,
No
you're stuck
limits,
with it,
no.
you try to
Oh.
sell it, and that's it. You're done. There's no
Oh,
buy
wow.
orders, no sell orders, no.
Yeah, it's
And if there's no liquidity in the
That's
market,
scary.
obviously you're not getting paid.
yeah, this is
Yeah.
highly risky. This is even riskier than day trading. So but I'm in some of these projects just hoping one of them hits, and this to me seems like that. And look
This was
at
just
it.
really new to me. It was so
Yeah.
new. I saw it and I was like, wait a minute, I don't understand what's going on.
Yeah, it's
So-
intriguing, but yeah, I have mixed feelings about talking about such things on this. I think it's interesting, but
There was one other
Yeah.
member. There was one other member that we spoke about in the group, and in OD, he was like, "Oh, I pulled it out because it just kept getting lower," and I was like, "Is it gonna go to zero?" And so he just pulled it out before it went to zero.
yeah, look at the chat. I don't know if it comes up or not, but Joshua's asking, I think, a question to you, Brooklyn. Are you making more profit from the price appreciation versus loss in coins?
Yeah,
Oh,
it is. It is.
okay. All right. I don't want to go down this rabbit hole because this is getting towards the
That was
end
just
of our
a really
time,
quick
but
question. Moving along.
check it out if you are so inclined. So, all right.
Anybody see
take a
that pump group today?
pump
Did you
group.
see that KuCoin pump group on?
Yeah, I've heard of things like that. Yeah, I tried some
I'm in the
that
pump
Wall
group.
Street
I'm in the
thing.
pump group.
I lost my arse on that, but KuCoin I like a lot. I trade on KuCoin. That's where I do most of my spot trading, and you can
Okay,
find some good
what's a
stuff.
pump group?
Yeah, go ahead and tell them that, Nathan.
Yeah, pump group is a thing where a bunch of people get together, or at least all join up in a group, and then the leader of the group or whatever says now, and they all invest at the same time into a particular, currency, and it pumps it way up, and then they sell it, and they all make, all kinds of money off of everything. And it's like, apparently there was in Slack today, there was somebody that put something in there, that was from the pump group. I was trying to find it and figure out what it was, because I don't know, it sounds like it would work, but it's probably highly unethical.
It sounds like red light, green
Sounds
light.
like GameStop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
They're
not
trying to do
new,
it
it's
inside
just
of the
maybe new to
GameStop.
KuCoin. They did something like this on
Okay, so
Binance earlier this year.
Statistically, you would have, unless you have no liquidity in your coin, you'd have to have so much of the market tied up just to move it.
Well, yeah, and
Wow.
in that group there was some 84,000 subscribers.
Oh,
There's your liquidity.
84,000. Okay, there's some liquidity. Yeah. Okay. I'm thinking our little Slack group, and like, okay, we got what, 30 people? No, it's not gonna work. So
Yeah.
unless our coin, has a valuation of $1,000 or something. Oh my word. Okay, well that was interesting.
But the thing is I was trying to find that group on, where inside of Telegram is what they were saying, and I couldn't find anything. I don't know. It was kind of strange.
Well,
I
we'll
had
have to
numerous
look for it and get back to us.
things of that today.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and end the recording here, but I'll hang around for some additional conversation on some other crypto related matters. Thank you so much for attending and watching, and we'll see you hopefully on Monday.
Thank you, CJ. We appreciate it. Thank you so
All right.
much.